Hey, it's Rachel from All About Planners. In this video I'm doing a review of the Paper Ideas Doc Grid Notebook. So if you're looking at this and thinking, gee, that has a bit of a resemblance, that font, to the Leuchttrum, that's what I thought too, which is actually the reason that I got this notebook. So I don't know if they were intending to make it look similar or if this is like designed to be like a cheap knockoff or what, but I thought, you know what, I will get something that looks similar and I'll compare it against the Leuchttrum and just see if it is worth paying extra for like the genuine real thing. So the first thing I need to point out about this is that it is 100 GSM paper, which is quite thin. Now the real thing, the Leuchttrum does have quite thin paper as well. So I will be doing a comparison with the pen test at the end of this video if you wanted to see how they stack up. But just keep in mind, if you are looking for a notebook that has no ghosting or bleed through, I wouldn't even bother watching the rest of this review. 100 GSM is very prone to bleed through. If you want something that doesn't, you'll need to splurge and go for a notebook that's like 140, 160 GSM. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Okay, so going back to this review. So apart from the paper, most things with Doc Grid notebooks tend to be the same, like the covers. So this one has that like soft material, but it's actually like hard and sturdy. It is about the same thickness that you would see for most Doc Grid notebooks, about 1.5 centimeters. As per usual, nothing printed on the spine. It's pretty plain and boring. There was other colors to choose from, but since I tend to always go for the same colors, I thought I'll go for something completely different and get the red. I don't mind how it looks, but again, there's like nothing on the cover. There's nothing really like special about it. You can take this thing off. I've just left it on so you could see what the name in the notebook and all that branding stuff was if you do want to look this one up on Google later. So at the front here, we have some contents pages with page and then topic. I don't know if this is showing up well on camera, but the pages are not yellow, but they're not like bright white either. They're more of like a creamy, I guess, like ivory kind of color. So like it's not too bad, but I mean, it's not the greatest. As you can see, it feels smooth, but it's already showing some ghosting through, like the font on the other side. And I don't know what's up with this like shadowing of the dots. The other's sort of like the shadow behind it. And if I keep flicking, it kind of just keeps appearing throughout the notebook. So not too much a fan. Oh, that's really bad on that page. Look at that. So not really a fan of that, and I know that's not visible in the like real thing on the Leuchttrum notebook. So again, I guess that's what you're paying for when you pay for the genuine. This one does have page numbers printed, and thankfully they are below the Doc Grid. So you've got this whole like margin down the bottom here. I hate when the numbers are within the grid, because then when you're trying to like rule something up, you end up covering the number and then you can't see the page numbers, so it just doesn't really make sense to me. So I like that they've included it below the grid. And there's also a little bit of space up the top here, which you can put the date if you want, or just put like a title in there. Should have probably pointed out that there's only those two contents pages, and then we go through into all of these Doc Grid, heaps and heaps of Doc Grid pages. If I just go to the back here, I can tell you the page count. So there is 188 pages, which is quite a lot. And there is also this pocket fold at the back, which I know is fairly typical for a Doc Grid notebook, but sometimes they're not included, so I do like to just point that out. And now let's go to the pen test. So for 100 GSM thick paper, I did all the usual pens, highlighters, stamps, etc. And there was quite a fair bit of ghosting, as you can see. Pretty much everything has some show through. So I think this notebook will be reserved for doing like, I usually experiment with some layout ideas before I actually pick what one I'm going to use, and then I will then go like redo it in a thicker notebook, and that's what I'll actually use like for weekly planning. I won't do any sort of planning in these cheaper notebooks with the bad paper. I just don't like seeing what's on the back side of it, so I just use these as like a draft kind of notebook. I hope that makes sense. I did do a blog post explaining it. I'll include a link down below. So yeah, not that great. There's lots of ghosting and bleed through. So if we compare that against the Leuchttrum, that brand, you've probably seen it before. Yeah, I probably said it wrong. Anyway, so if we just look back at this one where I did some testing, there was quite a lot of show through on this one though as well. So I mean, you pay extra and it doesn't have that shadow dot like this Paper Ideas one does, but I mean, look at that, the paper quality is not that great either. So just do a side-by-side comparison. You can see they're both got a lot of ghosting. I will give it to this one, it's a lot whiter paper. This one is definitely got more of a yellowish tinge to it. I hope you can see that in the camera. Very yellow, actually looks a lot whiter when you compare it against that one. It's not pure white though, keep that in mind. So yeah, fair bit of ghosting for both of them. If it was up to me, I personally wouldn't bother paying extra for the Leuchttrum. I mean, you're really just paying for like the whole, this is the original bullet journal kind of thing. There's so many notebooks these days that are a lot cheaper, so I don't really recommend getting that notebook anymore. I mean, the paper quality is not even that great anyway. And there's so many other doc grid notebooks that have pretty colours, like blue, etc. And I know you can get different colours for the Leuchttrum, but it's like, what are you actually paying extra for? There's not really anything, in my opinion, that's sort of worth it. So that's why I've started to go for all these cheaper notebooks. As for whether this one I think is like the best, definitely not, because of the paper. I have done reviews of tons of other doc grid notebooks if you're interested, but I think this is a good one if you are just starting out with bullet journaling, you don't really care about ghosting or bleed through, or you want a notebook where you can do like draft of your ideas before you put it in like your main doc grid notebook, you know, maybe like an Archer and Olive type one. So you have this as like your draft, and then you have your like final one. Anyway, I hope you found this review helpful. I'll have those links down below, including a comparison that I've done of about 30 doc grid notebooks. If you're trying to decide which one to get, it'll be down below. Don't forget to subscribe. I usually post a couple of planner review and bullet journal notebook reviews each week.